Hello everybody, we are the Bloodthirsty Puppets. This is Monday Nights Get Nuked. I am Thirsty, and hey Kerone, you can do chat rules, you know them.
Okay, let's just go straight into it. Couple of rules for chat. Don't be at all about someone's gender. Do not be at all about someone's race. And more importantly, don't be a tool or a screwdriver.
Excellent. As you may have guessed, and I said, I am Thirsty. You can see Eivor just over there. Actually, over there. Ooh, haha, he snuck up on me there. Right, you can see below me is the wonderful Kerone, who we know very well and who did the chat rules so nicely. All the way over there, however, who's that fella? Who are you?
I'm Jazzratt.
Excellent. Now, Jazzratt is a great friend of mine who basically we spent the greater portion of 5 years in a basement together. He's a wonderful fella. He's a true basement-dwelling nerd, like myself. And so I've drafted him in the absence of Spanners and Lilth, for they had to go to fancy foreign countries and have holidays and lives. Ireland and Belgium and France and glorious places with booze.
Aberdeen.
All right then. So yeah, tonight we should be playing a game that I have called One Night on the Road, and it's really great that I had to look and see there on my notes because I literally wrote it. So why did I have to refer back to my notes? Anyway, so today we shall be following the wonderful adventures of Zeke in his pre-Ooze Town journeys, as he well, we'll find out, won't we? We'll find out what he's doing. But before we jump into that, I've just realised Eivor and Kerone are the wrong way round on the overlay.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So I'll be moving those.
Are we going to introduce our characters?
Yeah, that was going to be next, but then I realised the overlay was all screwed up. So hey, alright. That. Yeah, that looks probably alright or something, maybe. So yes. So we can basically ignore Eivor at this point. So sorry mate. Because we know who you are. Yeah. You're that character we all know and love. But Kerone, who are you? Who are you playing? What are they like? What are they wearing?
I'm Kerone, and I am playing Gregor. And he's got some pants. He's got a t-shirt, some trousers, and a coat and boots, and he loves it. He's also got a gun called Thatcher, and it does quite interesting things when he fires, which may or may not be revealed a bit later. If he has to fire it, then we shall all see what happens.
Okay.
And he's also an academic, which means he's quite overly powered with intellect, so that should be quite interesting and hopefully will come of some use in our quest. And yeah, we shall just see what happens, and hopefully he won't kill anyone he's not supposed to.
Mm-hmm. So you called his gun Thatcher. That's a curious choice. Does it perchance steal children's milk and cause massive celebrations in Scotland when it breaks?
I was thinking more of Margaret Thatcher, but...
Yes, so was I. But good to know you didn't get the references.
No.
Excellent. So, Jazzratt, who will you be today?
I will be Jeffrey. Much like Kerone's character, he's a scholar and a gentleman. He also happens to be an enormous mutant.
Ah, okay. Fair enough. So, what does Jeffrey like? What's he look like? What's he wearing? So we can all...
All right, yeah, he's a very large, hairy man with a lab coat and a pair of trousers and some boots. That's about all he wears.
Fair enough.
He's got a large gun strapped over his back and camping mallet sticking out of the pocket of the lab coat.
Oh yes, I remember us generating that. Is the handle sticking through the bottom of the pocket, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, literally like a handyman's loop on its belt. Lovely. Are the sleeves intact on this lab coat, or is it more like a cut-off vest at this point?
One of them is mostly intact. The other one is a ragged mess.
Okay, fair enough. I can picture that. Yeah. So it's nice to know what people look like on occasion. Because I don't think we ever actually addressed it on the main Monday night games. I think we alluded to Zeke having a coat.
Only by power of me falling headfirst into essentially the rotten filth that covers the River Ouse.
Yes. Sorry, if you could adjust your mic up a bit, that'd be great. You're a bit quiet, mate. But yes, you fell into the River Ouse and got yourself covered in stinking river mud. But yes, so tonight we shall be doing a One Night on the Road, which is a wonderful account of basically how Zeke sort of entered into the area where the main campaign started, and we shall sort of set the scene, if you will. As we were. Hey, who knows? Fuck it. Right, yeah, that's the one. Right, so basically, Zeke has recently skirted around the outskirts of Bensfield, which is a large sort of semi-fortified farming village. It's getting late in the day, but he doesn't really fancy chancing it with the hefty old post-gen guards. So he's skirted around that one. He's going to make a straight shot into Lewis for a good old pint of the John Harveys. So everything was going well until the weather changed. And fortunately, Zeke pitched up his trusty old dome tent and hopped in to wait out the oncoming storm. When the wind basically caught it and ripped the poles out. So Zeke was left sitting in a ragged mess, surrounded by his measly belongings. And then it started raining. So yeah, there's clearly much heavier rain yet to come. So you've resolved to make a straight shot for Lewis. You have to walk through the night, but the size of the storm that's coming in, you're pretty sure only an ancient structure like the John Harveys can stand up to the oncoming sort of storm. So, Zeke, as you wander past Bensfield, you happen upon a man in the road. A weedy man who is sort of standing there holding an old Ordnance Survey map that's rapidly turning to mush in his hands. And this is how you come across Kerone.
You're right there. That map doesn't seem to be doing you too much good in weather like this.
I know. I've had it upside down a couple of times. It's trying to make some sense of it, but getting a bit lost, you see.
Oh yeah. People down here tend to do that quite a bit. Where are you heading to? Best be out of this storm before it gets too bad.
Well, according to this map, I should actually be stumbling upon a pub at some point, but yes, I've been trying for about 4 hours now, and I seem to keep coming back to the same spot, so it's just a bit confusing. Hopefully I'll get there at some point, before I die or something. Yes.
I'm sure for a couple of tack I'll be able to show you the way. I'm heading there myself to get out this damn rain.
Oh yes, well I think anything, if you can help, that'd be fantastic. I mean, how much tack were you thinking of?
We'll call it 5, and that'll be happy days.
Yes, I can do 5. 5, as my mum always used to say, 5's the charm. So here you go, have some 5 tack, and yes, that would be splendid if you could help. That would really be splendid of you.
All right, no problem. Well, once I've received the tack, I will then sort of carry on toward in the direction of Lewis. So what's your name then?
Oh, my name's Gregor. Yes, that's my name.
Good to meet you, Gregor. The name's Zeke.
Zeke. Excellent.
Okay. At this point, I would interject that you're about 17 miles away from Lewis. You're not heading along a main road or any kind of road. In fact, you're cutting across rough country, rough hilly country, with
Zeke's
sort
fine
of spotted with old quarries. In the dark, well, in the growing dark, in the rain. So, Gregor did have a map, but it has now definitely disintegrated. And Zeke, you have an idea of where you're going, south.
Mm-hmm.
But you've never been to Lewis before. So, I need someone to take some kind of fantastic knowledge check to try and work out what the fuck is going on in terms of navigation. Otherwise, bad things will occur.
I'll give that a go. It should be funny as hell, considering I've just paid someone else to show me the way. But I'm not really going to be helping, so it does kind of go along with my character, really, when you score a botch.
Excellent. Oh god. Right, yeah, you've come to the top of a hill, and essentially Zeke has led you to what looks like an excellent path up and over this hill, until you come across the chalk pit on the other side. It's a big ass, like, gaping chalk pit, some sort of 100 or so meters deep. Yeah, you're really glad that you noticed this, and you're absolutely sure at this point the best plan of action is to try and climb down. From your knowledge of traversing rough terrain in these several weeks you've been out of the dwelling, you're absolutely sure that the best thing you could possibly do at night in the rain is climb down a slippery chalk rock surface. Zeke, however, is not convinced. Zeke, what in fact was your knowledge check going to tell you?
Let's find out. I believe, given that is an 11, I think going down this chalk pit is the best idea possible.
Yes. Excellent. Perfect. Wonderful. I shall
climb down.
I shall dig out a character sheet so I can start telling you how you fail. God damn. Right, yes. So, well, first off, we shall start taking some physical endurance tests for you climbing down a rock face at night with no gear in the rain. Can you hold on?
10.
11.
On the dice?
No, 5 on the dice.
Whew, okay, yeah. Yeah, you make it down several feet of slippery chalk. It's surprisingly easier than you thought to climb downwards. Gravity helps, and where the rain's getting to all this chalk, it's getting kind of spongy in places. Where it's really breaking down. It makes great handholds. As you climb, as you sort of swarm down, you slip a few times, and you scream a little. One of you may have even lightly fouled yourself, but you make it the first sort of 20 feet, 20, 30 feet down, you feel like you're doing a good job of descending. Neither of you have died, and it hasn't been too horrible or terrifying yet. Almost. So yeah. So continue. How are you going to attempt to ease your descent?
If it's soft and spongy, I think it would be sort of a. Oh, crap. Just look for handholds and head down as carefully as possible. Or, to be fair, with a botch, it would probably be as quickly as possible.
Well, no, this is separate to your previous. No, this is literally like, how are you going to climb down? Are you going to look for handholds by feeling around? Are you going to attempt to punch something into the surface so you can make handholds? Are you going to try and remember how to climb down from your previous experience? Are you going to look for handholds using your perception?
I think that this would be an ideal time to sort of take one hand off the rock face and sort of shake my backpack and go, Jerry, I need you to go and have a look for me. See if there's a way down, boy.
Excellent. Never remember, do you roll this one or do I?
You do.
I do. Excellent. So yes, Jerry, the little two-headed mutant red squirrel, jumps out your backpack and with a thoroughly unhappy sounding sort of chirp, because Jerry does not like the rain at all. He heads off down. Yeah, Jerry shoots off down to one side, and he finds a place where there's a fissure in the rock, where if you can get over to it, you can sort of get down like the next sort of 30 or 40 feet without too much problem. You have to get there, but once you do, it's almost like a path.
Okay, I'll take those odds.
And he stays there. He stays there, and he makes loud, angry squirrel noises to attract your attention. He's not coming back. Yeah, he'll hop into your pack when you get there. So yeah, so you found a thing. So, are you going to communicate this to your Mark, Rube, associate, friend?
I think the best way down is going down this way. It looks like there's a path halfway down.
Wow, that's rather marvellous. I shall follow. Henceforth, off we go.
Excellent. Now, I want... Yes, fuck it. I want Zeke to take either a strength or a physical endurance to make the climb, because he knows where he's going.
That is a 14.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. You managed to climb over, so you're almost just above it, and just let go and slide down into the fissure. The fissure's only about 4 feet deep. It basically just forms like a steep-sided path. It's wonderful. Of course, you're drenched with rain. It's filling with rain. But hey, you're standing in a torrential rainstorm at night in a chalk quarry. What are you expecting? Now, Grigor, you're hanging by your fingertips from a slick chalk surface. A good sort of 80 feet up or so. How are you going to get over to this fissure? Are you going to carefully look for footholds? Are you going to make absolutely sure you saw where Zeke went? Are you going to, I don't know, are you going to punch holes into the thing so you can grab in?
I'm going to try and remember from my days back when I had to climb a similar type of platform or surface area when, I don't know, I was somewhere drunk one day. So, and see if I can remember exactly how to get from where I am to over there. through a knowledge roll.
As a sheltered little dweller, I would say that you probably wouldn't have any any in-depth memories of climbing slick surfaces at night. But I'll let you take a brute intelligence on it. You may just be able to figure this out. It's not rocket science.
I'm probably not going to figure it out, because that was a 6.
Yes, as I say, it's not rocket science. It is free climbing. Right, so yeah, you get a 6. You completely fuck up. You go to you look exactly where Zeke's gone. You swing your hand back onto the rock face. You just slap it and push yourself away. And you scrabble for a few feet, and you slide down. And Zeke, give me a reflex. You see your customer Mark associate sliding past you in a state of panic.
3 and 5, 8.
You manage to slap him on the thigh as he slides past, but you don't grab hold. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say thank you.
No, it hurts. It hurts. He's painfully slapped you on the thigh as you slide past.
I'm being sarcastic.
Thanks, Dick. Anyway, so yeah, you've just seen this guy basically falling to his death. Excellent. What are you going to try and do to save yourself? You are falling many, 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 many feet to the floor, to a hard rock floor.
Just try and catch into the chalk somehow. Just
excellent. Give me a strength. Give me anything. If you have a weapon of any kind that you think might be able to, punch into the surface, give that a try. If
try punching my small gun into the surface, I suppose.
Okay.
It's the only weapon I've got.
Yeah. You could turn it round and try and use it a bit like a climber's axe.
Yeah, I
with the handle, I suppose.
You say it's a straight strength.
Yeah.
10.
10.
Yes.
Yeah. No. You continue slow. You slow down a little bit. You smack your gun and you pistol whip a cliff in the hope that it will slow you down a bit. It forms a makeshift break. It's more of a sort of moral victory. You feel like you're doing something better. You're still gaining speed, but you're gaining speed slowly.
Result.
Yeah. You're still going at quite a clap though. Zeke, is there anything you're going to try and do? Are you going to dive after him? Are you going to... I don't know, do you have rope? Do you have anything? You're going to chuck your bag at him? Shoot him before he hits the ground? I don't know.
I think I'm just going to try and sort of slide after him to catch him.
Excellent. Alright. Yeah, that's sufficiently cool that I'm just going to let you do that. You managed to die. You chuck Jerry back into your bag, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get him back in your bag and you dive after your screaming fool. Yeah, I'm not going to go along with the associate rube thing anymore. Yeah, you dive after your screaming fool, and you plunge many, many feet. Altogether, too many. Feet per second. Yeah, you're getting closer. He seems to be slowing down. You seem to be speeding up. Sooner or later you will pass or collide. And yes, you're sliding along. This it's dark. There's just this eerie glow of the chalk in the night. It's very slimy. It's very wet. Now, Jazzratt.
Right.
Jeffrey has been spending the night in a chalk pit, as is his wont since he left Bertha's hell. He tends to go to places where people don't, because, frankly, he stands out. he is a very big fellow. And, the Hellions at Bertha's Hell, they protect a lot of the settlements around here. So it's not really great for you, as a deserter, to try and go there. So yeah, you're looking for somewhere safe. As you're sitting in your little sort of improvised lean-to, made out of mining equipment, and there's a big old lifting scoop. You've basically essentially a large metal bin, propped up, like one of those cartoon mouse traps. A big metal bin and a few metal girders holding it up. You've got a little fire started in there.
Yeah, I think I can see how events are gonna unfold.
Yeah, you can see and hear, in fact, barely over the rain, but you can see two fools sliding down into your quarry. The way that they're heading, it would be easy enough for you to head over there and try and catch them.
Well, I certainly wander out to have a look at what's going on, but I'll give it a go anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, a pair of grateful humans is never a bad idea.
No, true.
So yeah, you you stroll out of your little bin, and you shrug on your coat. Do you have any form of hat?
I don't.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you step out into the rain. You instantly get soaked to the skin. It's unpleasant, but you're not too worried. And just as you step to the rock face and sort of, try and work out where you need to be, Eivor, take a reflex.
14.
Excellent. Yeah, as you head, you see someone, and it looks like a very big someone. Either that, or you're a lot closer to the ground than you thought. Step out from behind a large, dark shape at the base of this cliff. They don't seem to be wearing a coat or a hat. Strikes you slightly odd, but hey, there's a person. Briefly, hope kindles in your heart. There are people. We could be saved. Someone could help us. Now, Jazzratt, give me a grapple.
Right. Oh, does the combat roll penalty apply here?
Yes.
Okay, so 9 total.
9. Was that strength or dexterity? Or were they the same?
Oh, okay.
You get a choice.
Yeah, okay. Can I use strength?
Yes, of course you can.
Okay, 10 then.
Excellent. Yeah, you get a 10. You see this person sliding down, Eivor, and you try and slide towards them. If nothing else, a ruthless survivalist streak goes, well, fuck it. If I can hit them, at least I can body surf my way to safety. And yeah, you clear the surface. You go off the last little lip, and you double foot it straight into this person's chest, and they catch you. They catch you by the legs, and you stop dead. Yeah, okay.
That's gonna hurt.
Yeah, that is gonna hurt. That is genuinely going to hurt quite a lot. So, what we'll do, for the sake of amusement, is everyone who's not Eivor, if they have a d4, roll it. And Jazzratt, for the sake of joy, roll a d6, because you're a post-gen. You couldn't do a d4 if you wanted to.
3.
1.
Excellent. You hear something sort of go crunch and a bit of a pop in You're not sure if it's your like knee or your hip, but you take 7 points of damage. You've just basically gone from bloody nigh terminal velocity to a complete stop by the grip of one leg. If it's not dislocated, you're going to be happy if it's not dislocated. But currently you're in too much pain and being held up in the air by your leg. You haven't tested the theory. Excellent. Now, Grigor.
Hello?
Your friend has shot past you in the rain and vanished. There seems to be like a large black splot on the ground. You haven't really been looking down. You've been looking at your gun as you're trying to slam it into the chalk. I would love to tell you to roll something, but you're not even looking where you're going. So, I mean, you can try. I mean, I'm not going to dictate. You can try and look around.
Yes, I'll have a little look and see if there's anything.
In fact, actually, take another strength. Let's see how this braking effect is working.
And that's a crit.
Excellent. Yeah, the braking effect of your pistol, you managed to slam it right back in again in a little crack in the rock face, and you stop dead on the rock face. The little pretty bit basically on the bottom of the handle of your gun that you were like, hey, that looks nice, snaps off. And you continue. You tumble at a safe, if somewhat undignified rate,
right
down onto the floor. And Jeffrey, see if you can do another catch, another grapple.
8 total.
No.
No.
No. Grigor, make an unarmed attack on Jeffrey.
An unarmed attack roll?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's a 3.
Excellent. Comedy of errors. Yeah. You fail to catch him, and you also fail to catch the leg that he swings as he feels someone try and grab him. And you just end up, all of you, on the floor in a sort of mess. There's a wet, soggy mess covered in chalk dust and rain. Huzzah! And probably mud now, because you've fallen on your asses. So, huzzah! You're all together. And it only took 40 minutes. So, go forth.
First, I'm going to haul these two off me and stand up.
Fair choice.
Hello there.
What the bloody hell are you playing at?
Wasn't trying to play anything really, just trying to get down here. We're down here now. Hi.
Are you suicidal? Did you not want me to intervene in this?
Just trying to find the quickest way to a place called Lewis down here somewhere. It's not too far, I don't think.
No, it's not. What business do you have there?
It's storm coming. This is just the start by my reckon. Thought it'd be best to find somewhere to bunker down, and there's some more of your lot nearby, but don't much meals with them.
I'm not so sure my lot is right. Or have you not? But I'm not like them. Process, it made me smarter, you see. I'm clever and they don't like that. Then. So I'm there. I'm on my own.
You're an academic.
Yes. Actually, no, sir. I'm a physician.
Ah, a good man of knowledge. I like it. I need a drink.
I could do with a drink as well, and my abidings aren't ideal for the weathers.
Yes.
Yes, you get the impression that despite his claims of academia, he probably couldn't spell it.
Well, rather than hang about around here, we should probably get moving again. Yeah, you're welcome to come see if there's anywhere you can sort of bed down and stay out of sight if you want. Lewis is a big enough place that you might go unnoticed for a while.
There are odd folk there, but I'm noticed everywhere. We'll see them. I will join you. I want a drink.
Drinks. Sounds good.
In fact, I feel you owe me a drink, having fallen into my home. Uninvited.
What a
Yes,
bunch of pricks.
Sorry about the mess.
I think my good friend here will see you clear of a couple of drinks as soon as we get to Lewis.
Oh, well, yes. I'm sure we can manage that. Yes. Yes, marvellous. Here we go.
Right. To the House of Beverages.
Is that its name?
Am I right in thinking that the only way out of this quarry is to go back up the other side?
No. This is an old scoop quarry. So essentially, what they do is they cut a fucking great wedge out of a hill. So it's a straight cliff, and then a bit where they just drive trucks in and load it up. So it's you can walk out the flat edge. That's fine. This was the side of the hill you were planning to walk down. You've just made the the vertical detour. You've
just climb out then.
You've
shaved the gradient somewhat.
Suppose we'll head off towards Lewis. Don't suppose you've got an exact idea where it is, do you, big fella?
Cucumber a second. Am I likely to?
Yes.
Yeah.
As a member of the Hellions from Bertha's Hell, you would actually know that the Hellions have a protection racket running here, where they protect Lewis. So, on a normal night, going into Lewis would be a shitty idea. But on a horrible, dark, stormy night, where things will die in the open from the force of the storm, it seems like a fantastic idea. And, you wouldn't stand out too much, because there would be other post-gens around.
Yeah.
Admittedly, the post-gens who are around might want to kill you, but, hey, death outside, death inside with a pint.
Go down drinking.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if it does go horribly wrong, I've got two apparently suicidal companions to slow them down a little.
Yes. Yes,
Right,
you have two pint-sized human shields. To buy you pints.
Yeah.
And who may be one day very good at bar brawling or escaping therefrom.
Yes. Well, this might be where Zeke learned that it's best to avoid a southern bar brawl, as the only northerner in the pub. But yes, I assume you don't tarry by the fire to dry off. You head off to the pub immediately.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah.
How
Okay.
important.
Okay. Yes. As you cross to the other side of the quarry and you come across the old rusted gates, which are absolutely shagged. There's no question that these would actually keep anyone out. They're just You can basically see rusted gateposts. That's about it. There are old printed signs saying keep out, but they're on the floor with big old post-gen foot boot prints on. From Gregory, from Jeffrey's comings and goings over the last few weeks. So you heading out, and as you do, the rain turns to hail, and over the next sort of few minutes, the hail gradually increases in size.
It's raining golf balls.
After 10 or 15 minutes, yes it is. So
I don't like this.
I think Zeke could just be a heavy overcoat pulled up overhead, as I can't use the backpack as Jerry's in there.
True. But anyone who can't think of an innovative way of blocking the fist-sized hailstones, take an endurance exposure. Unless you can come up with an innovative way of avoiding the giant fist-sized hailstones.
No, I'm just going to try to walk through it stoically.
10.
Yep, that's 11 in total.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, 7 for me.
A 7.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. Okay. Yeah, you all get pelted with fist-sized hailstones. You try and pull up the collar of your coat. After a few moments of just getting drenched, you just pull your coat up over your head. Try and form some kind of shitty rudimentary umbrella, keep it taut and pulled over your head. Yeah.
I don't suppose this would be unseasonably cold, would it? So I've just realised I've got Scottish Sunbather, which would turn that into a 12.
Yeah, that applies. Yeah. It does up it to a 12. Congratulations. But yes, Zeke, your thick coat and your tendency to not give a general fuck about weather conditions, being that you are a hardy fella from the north, where this is every day, you're uncomfortable. Fist-sized hailstones. The cold may not bother you, but the fist-sized hailstones still hurt. The other two, you'll just get pelted. You're bruised and unhappy. So those of you who aren't from the bleak north, you both take a level of exposure, which you'll see under your suffering level there.
Yep.
And you take a d4 of damage, which I've rolled a 4 because I'm a fucking legend.
What do you have?
Yes. So yes, you're all feeling worse for this. And after a few minutes of walking, you come to a smashed up old train and a tunnel, which looks like a fantastic place to not be standing in fist-sized hail.
Yeah, I'm gonna leg it for that.
You're gonna. In fact, actually, everyone take a perception test. Who notices it first?
Not Zeke.
3.
Oof.
8.
8. Yeah. Jeffrey definitely notices it first, and built survivor that he is. He just runs for it. He runs for it with a burst of speed that only someone who's 7'2" can manage, and he just smashes it. He vanishes into the rain. He disappears in the mist of backsplash from this stuff hitting the ground so hard, and before you know it, your third companion's just gone.
Where did he go?
I think he went to that train over there. Looks like a decent place to wait this hail at. And then I'm going to book it in that direction.
No, I shall follow.
Excellent. Right. So Jeffrey, you book it towards. Are you going towards the train or the tunnel?
Probably the tunnel. I think.
Okay, yeah. You book it for the tunnel. You run on in. Obviously, there's groundwater is rushing along through this thing, but at least the water directly. No, the fist-sized ice from the sky is momentarily averted. As you step into this tunnel, it's not a very long tunnel. You can see the other end. It's only only a couple of dozen meters away. You get the impression this is just like it's gone under a carriageway or something. But yeah, you step through into the tunnel. These other two. Okay. Running in the dark, in the rain, with fist-sized hail. What should we make you roll? Fuck it. Physical endurance. You're running in fist-sized bombarding hail.
3.
3. Huzzah.
9.
9. Okay, yeah. Once again, Zeke doesn't appear to give a rat's a fuck what's going on here. And he just books it over to the train, which is where he said he was running. You get to the train, you stand in the lee of the train, you go around it. And you can hear the hail smashing into the other side. Unfortunately, for Gregor, you lose your way in the hail. All this mist and hail and backsplash. You duck your head, you start getting pelted, you get a bit confused and disoriented. And you find that you eventually run into the train. As in, you've got your hands up, sheltering your head, and you run physically into the train. The doors aren't exactly closed. You get the impression that people have been pulling these things open and getting in for years. But they're not open enough for you to just jump on in.
Right.
Are you going to hop into the train? Are you
Yeah.
going to stand here being pelted for longer?
No, I'll just hop in.
Excellent. All right. So give me any reasonable test to get inside this train. What are you going to use to jimmy open this train door?
Tech use.
Tech use. Yeah, that works. You understand the mechanism. It'll probably be easier.
17.
Fuck yes. You know exactly what to do. You reach to the underside and you find the little you find the little actuator that actually moves the door in and out, and you just pull it, the door pops out, and you just push it out the way. There's no longer the resistance of having to get to move around. It's like puff. You dive on in, you pull it back behind you. And yeah, you are for the most part out of the hail. I mean, the windows are long gone, but the roof is there. And you go and sit on the other side of the train. Because the seat frames are there. And through the broken window you look out and you can see Zeke standing in the shade of the train. You're almost level with each other. So,
Hi.
Oh, you made it. Good, oh.
Yeah. There's a door.
is that?
Do I reckon I'd be able to climb in without much difficulty, through the window? Or
The windows are broken glass, so yeah, you could heft your way in if you really wanted. There are doors on this side of the train, obviously, or you could just walk down this side of the train into the tunnel.
I think that might be best. You head on up inside, and I'll meet you where you come out in the tunnel if you can.
Rightio.
Okay, so you're both just going to head down the train into the tunnel.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right, so back to Jeffrey.
Right.
You're standing in a dark tunnel, surrounded by the sound of rain. I imagine it's probably quite hellish. Being surrounded with all this horrible drumming rain, and I can't imagine what it would sound like over the top of the tunnel as well. So yeah, but momentarily unpummeled and dry. Well, no longer becoming wetter. Overall, a bonus. However, the wind is ripping through this thing and it's bloody cold. But hey, shelter for a moment.
Worse things than cold.
Yes, there are.
Right.
Bullets and fire and ice picks and death weasels and killins and your old friends coming to hunt you. So yeah, you hear, you hear the squeaky, girlish voices of a pair of humans, screaming at each other over the sound of the rain and the wind. And they seem to be coming back your way. Huzzah! They seem to have survived as well. How useful.
Right. Yeah. I'll go and see if they need anything.
Okay. Yeah, as you head back, as you head over, you step over the side of the tracks, you are back towards this buggered old train. You realise that clearly at some point, probably 100 years ago, it looks like at least one train stopped in this tunnel. Like at least one carriage stopped in this tunnel, and another train seems to have hit it. They must have seen that a nuclear apocalypse was occurring, and someone went to hide in the tunnel, and someone else had the same idea. But yeah, so the front of the train that these two are currently heading towards is utterly mangled. It's burst open, it's torn. You can just, the walls have fallen in. You could just step over it, basically. It is fucked, for want of a better term. But the other train it hit is similarly buggered, and then extends out the other side of the tunnel, fairly unmolested, apart from 100 years of dilapidation. And as you walk towards it, you see Grigor sort of strolling down, not caring the world, looking like everyone with a newspaper and a first-class ticket you've ever seen. However, Zeke, are you going to get in the train and then head down, or just walk down the side of the train?
Just walk down the side of the train.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As you head down, you start to hear Jerry sort of lightly snoring from your pack. He stirs a little. You sort of feel like kicking and scratching in your pack, but it's not unusual. You sent him running around in the rain. Poor guy's tired, and as such, Jerry doesn't warn you, and you kick something in the dark.
I can see in the dark though. I've got night vision.
Yeah.
Have I missed that?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
something you can see in the dark better than normal people. It is still
Okay.
dark. You kick something in the dark. I mean, it's not a big thing. It's something very low. Feels quite soft, yielding, one might say. And at that point, there's a sort of yelp.
I'll have a look down and see what I have just awoken.
Okay, yeah. The thing you kicked, as you look down and you're looking into like the heart of darkness at this point. You're in the dead of night now, in a tunnel. It's entirely understandable that you wouldn't be able to see many details. You see something. The thing you kicked starts to move, and you notice that it has at least one white stripe on its back. It appears to be furry.
Skunk.
Do I need to take any sort of check to know what it is to then, as quick as my little legs will sneak me away?
Yeah, you could take a knowledge to try and work out what it is. And this isn't something you've come across in the dark before.
Okay.
You may have seen one in the day, or at least sort of at dawn or dusk.
That is a 4.
A 4. You are absolutely convinced that this is something comparatively harmless Uh, it reminds you slightly of something much bigger, but you're pretty sure it can't be that. You know, one of those wouldn't be here. You can't even entirely recall what one of those would be. You know, you're like, fuck, it's probably nothing. You know, it seems to be moving away. It yelped. Clearly it felt hurt. So yeah, you know, things all coming up aces, knowledge-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing, you know, it yelps and it bustles off. You know, there's a lot of sort of, you know, a lot of crunching of gravel and scratching and scrabbling. Something that clearly has claws runs away. You know, something that may have been the size of a Saint Bernard. But the only thing it would remind you of would have been way bigger. You know, I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
Is what you say to yourself as this thing runs off. You're like, if it ran off, it's clearly a pussy. Who gives a fuck?
I'll carry on further down, but a bit more gingerly to try and avoid kicking another one.
Fair enough. Okay. So, the other two guys, take perception tests to try and notice this thing.
2.
Okay, no.
11 total.
11 total. Yeah, Grigor, you see something running past and you're like, "Oh my god, it's something from the desolation. This is terrible." But you have no idea what the fuck it is. You're just going on the knee jerk that anything out here is probably horrible. And it runs out of your field of view, you know, before you really decide what to do about that. Jeffrey, on the other hand, you recognise these yelps. You've heard these before. You've caused them before. In fact, you don't see the creature, on the other hand, because it's too small and you're standing on the other side of the train. But you're absolutely sure this is a Rajapup, which is the child version of a gigantic mutated badger. You know, but the pups, they tend to run away if you cause them trouble. But post-gens have a lot of time sort of baiting them and, you know, staking them, tying, you know, chaining them to posts and, you know, poking them with things. You know, Rajahs can be quite tasty.
Yeah. Is the presence of a cub indicative of, like, maybe larger mother types, or
up to a point, yes. Without seeing how big the cub was, you can't really tell. As once they leave the mother, they can, you know, once they reach a certain size, they leave the mother, but they still have the call. If the mother's nearby and the adolescent is harmed, it might come, it might not. But yeah, you recognise what this thing was, but you don't see it.
I'm gonna unswing my gun and just be a bit cautious, or if I see the little one, maybe I could score some bonus dinner.
Excellent. But do you tell the other two, who are now emerging into your line of sight?
All right, I can see them now. Yeah. I say, do you hear that, Raja lads?
A what?
Raja, like, hang on.
When? Oh, that noise earlier. Was that what it was? Oh, okay. Good-o.
Are you sure you're clever?
Oh.
Oh, yes. I've got a certificate.
Bronze swimming certificate. He has a BSc, a bronze swimming certificate.
From my ones, I assume I've come across Rogers at some point.
Yes. Yeah.
Sort of the name would give it away.
Oh yeah, when he says it, you know. Yeah,
So-
you're happy it ran away. Yeah. To a post-gen, this might be an amusing, if somewhat angry creature that they can poke and torment and eat. To a human, it's scary. It's not horrifically scary, but it's sort of it's on par with you ran into a lone wolf. It's not as scary as a pack of wolves or a lion, or a Raja, which is somewhere between like an angry male lion and a rhino.
So suppose if then things are knocking about here, we should be getting going.
Yes.
The hail's died down. We should be able to make some decent time.
Yes. Yes. In the meantime, the hail does seem to have this wave of hail at least seems to have blown over. It's back to just big fat drops of rain and horrible cold wind. But you do start to hear thunder. So clearly, like the sound of the hail drowning out the thunder behind. So it's finally moved past. You can see as you look out the other end of the tunnel, you can see like a band of hail moving across this valley.
Okay.
Nice.
I suppose I'll head straight out the tunnel towards the direction we were heading.
Are we heading out of this tunnel through that train you mentioned, like the second one that was fucked up at the back, but all right at the front?
I would assume you're following that direction, yeah.
Oh no, actually never mind.
Okay. So yeah, you walk back into the rain, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask. Yeah. Can you guys walk any faster than you're doing?
I can. I'm not too sure about this one, but he's the one sort of paying me wages, so. He's the
All
one that
right.
sets
I've
the
got an idea then. I'm going to try to pick him up and walk with him, just so that we can make some better time. Maybe stay ahead of the hail. Because I assume at 7'2", the guy can go at a fair lick.
Yeah. I mean, I've walked beside you in real life, and you can get a fair lick, and you're only like 5 inches taller than me. So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. I would call this a grapple, because you've announced you're going to grab someone and you're doing so.
Mhm.
He's probably not entirely cool with it.
That's all right. He doesn't need to.
I mean, obviously, Kerone, it's your choice if you don't want to contest. Is Grigor happy with being manhandled by an enormous moron?
Yeah.
Well, admittedly, apparently quite intelligent, enormous person of, limited ability. But so you're just going to be you're happy to be grappled. Okay, what was the
Yes.
grapple roll?
It was a 10.
It was a 10. Yeah, you easily hoist this, this bookish fool into the air. You chuck him over your shoulder. I mean, is your gun still in your hands, or have you slung it back again?
I think it's in my pocket.
I'm going to have him over one shoulder and then the gun sort of in my other hand, just on the strap.
Okay, cool. You chuck him over your shoulder, he smacks into your gun. Oh god. Fair enough. But yeah, you're sort of cradling your gun in one arm. Cool. Fair enough. Yeah. So yeah, you chuck him over your shoulder. It's undignified. He's, the rain's now hitting him from a direction he's not waterproof in. But hey, his coat is now falling back over his head. The lining's getting wet. The the heavy rain's now going right down his arse crack. Yeah, it's cold, it's unpleasant. You're making better time. Zeke as a practiced walker, is keeping pace more or less, but Jeffrey is easily a foot taller than you.
Foot and a bit, yeah.
Yeah, he's a foot and a bit, and probably a foot and a bit wider as well.
Yeah.
He has no trouble whatsoever carrying a full-grown man on his shoulder and still walking faster than you. But yeah. So yes, you head back out into the rain. Fella upon shoulder. First things first. Then, as you enter back into the rain, can I get another exposure from Grigor with ice cold rain splashing in underneath all of your waterproofs?
There's an exposure save.
Yeah. You've basically just been doused in ice cold water.
7 plus 9.
Yeah, that's another level of exposure. It is none too comfortable.
Ooh.
Yeah. But you're still alive. Don't whine. It's all good. But yeah, it's horribly uncomfortable. You're now freezing. It's something you'd really rather hadn't happened.
Had better days.
Yeah, you've had far better days. Even that one day when that mate of yours stabbed you once by accident. Yeah, that was a better day. You're now actively very cold. But yeah, you nonetheless you continue to be carried as portions of your anatomy resize themselves and move out the way. You have the novel experience of taking a shower sort of upside down in ice cold water. Not many people get to do that without being waterboarded. So there we are. I finally found the actual mechanical effects I can stop wanking on with basically just filler. Right, you take 3 points of damage from cold.
Boo.
From cold and loss of feeling in extremities, possibly chafing. So yeah, you head back out into the rain. After a few minutes, you start to hear the yipping again, and there seems to be a much throatier call replying to it. The yipping seems to be coming closer as well. And this the throatier call. I mean, you take a perception check, everyone.
5.
Fucking hell.
6.
2.
Excellent.
You're blind.
Yeah, you have very little idea what direction this deeper call is coming from. You know for absolute certainty the yip is coming closer. I mean, it's getting clearer for a start. You can more or less tell the direction as well. It's off to your left, the direction that this thing ran away initially. But the deeper call, you're not sure. It seems to sort of echo around a bit.
Given the fact that I may have encountered one of these before, and even if it's only a pup, is still large enough to cause me personally problems, I think I'd sort of head slightly off the track and try and creep along rather than stand in full view.
Yeah. The question is, which side of the track are you going to sneak off? If you sneak off to the south, you'll be moving closer to your destination, but you'll definitely be moving to the other side of the group from the other two. This thing is coming from the north.
Yeah.
If you move to the north, you'll be hiding in the bushes where it's coming from, off of a rail embankment. But you are moving closer.
Away from the yipping sounds better.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you move down the other side of this rail, sort of this broken rails, and
I'll sort of just call gently. Come on, lads. Best be making ourselves scarce.
Rightio.
fair enough.
That's right. Oh,
What were you about to say?
I can only hear two of them. Like, if they just keep your eye out, if they come for us, we'll just kill them.
Yeah.
Fuck it, roll and manipulate. See how probable you make this sound. Like, these are humans who are used to going, "Oh God, it's huge, run away."
Okay.
Or at least in Zeke's case, like, "Oh God, it's huge, let's find an advantageous position to blow its brains out from." And you're like, "Yeah, who cares that it's bad weather? Who cares the shit visibility? Who cares that it's dark? If it comes, we'll blow its face off."
Right. What happens when you roll a 12?
When you roll a 12, you automatically succeed at the thing you were doing, and there's an additional narrative bonus. So I guess you've rolled a crit, yes?
Yes.
Excellent. You've rolled a crit. You sound absolutely unshakably confident. You inspire the other two with a great sense that you know exactly what you're talking about. At this point, they become aware that the belt you're wearing to hold up your titanic trousers is made from Raja fur. You know, it's made from tanned Raja hide with like Raja fur flashes. You know, it's got Raja claw like adornments on it. You know, you stand there with your thumbs behind your Raja hide belt and like say, "Oh, we can. If it bleeds, we can kill it." You know. They are unshakably sure that whatever comes, you are absolutely going to be ready. And at that, you catch sight of an enormous mound of loping flesh.
Oh, good.
Running towards where you were down the tracks, towards the yipping sound. This mound of being is an enormous sort of mottled grey colour. I mean, obviously it's dark, so you can really only make out shades of grey. But it's sort of a mottled effect on the skin, on its fur, and you see at least 4 white stripes on its back. You're not sure exactly why that is, but it's big. It's dump truck big.
Shit. Never oversold things at all. That's...
Yeah, I mean, this thing, had it wanted to, probably wouldn't have fit in the train. You know, being that it is a creature of flesh and bone, it might have been able to squeeze itself in, you know, after a few slender weeks, you know, of bad hunting. But, yeah, this thing looks like it could have angry sex with a bin van. You know, it's big.
You sounded so sure about that. I'm sure you can sit this, that you can handle this if we were to make our way up the hill for a better view of proceedings.
A better vantage point.
Sure you'll be all right down here. And I want to sneak my way up the hillside rather than going down as it was the first time.
Okay. You want to recross the tracks where this thing is running?
Oh, no, I will sort of find the best vantage point possible where I am and sort of try and stay low.
Okay. Give me a sneak.
That is a non-natural 11.
Okay, yeah. You figure that basically nowhere you could go would be much better than just the top of the ridge where you stepped off of it.
Okay.
So yeah, you take like 6 long strides and just throw yourself down on your belly, like where you basically stepped off this sort of flattened off area. So you lay on your belly like on that shitty shale stuff they put underneath the train tracks. I know it is just there for an incredibly specific technical reason, but I still think of it as that shitty shale stuff. It's uncomfortable, but you're not dead, so hey. And you lay there. Your hip is hurting, your knee is hurting, your leg is in terrible pain. You probably should have asked for someone for help about that before you started running around at night. But hey, you're laying there. You've also now seen this enormous dump truck of a being running up these tracks towards the sound of its assumedly somewhat distressed young, and you figured out that's what's going on. The other two of you take a perception, or a knowledge, or a sneak. Well, depending on what you want to do.
To re-roll that.
Okay.
All right.
Interesting.
And if you want to come up with some wild and awesome tactic for taking this thing out, go for it. Just throw concepts at me.
Well, I'm going to
Wow.
start with. Oh, sorry.
For perception, I rolled a 2.
For perception, you rolled a 2. Okay, you haven't seen this Raja, this adult Raja. You also have no idea what's just happened to Zeke. It's like when you're watching a war film and someone turns to talk to the guy who they just had an argument with, and they've just hit the deck and vanished. Like, hey guys, oh shit. So yeah, Zeke has vanished. You have no idea what's gone on with that.
Right.
So
there you go.
you might you might just be like a slight touch terrified at this point. But yeah, Jeffrey, you've seen this thing, and you're massively confident that you know exactly what to do about it.
Okay. Well, my plan's got 2 parts. First, I'm going to drop Gregor. I don't need that.
Yep. Easy peasy.
Thanks.
And I'm also I'm going to take a knowledge check just to see exactly what I know about Rajas' size and what to do about them.
Okay.
For which I rolled an 11 over 8 on the dice.
Okay. Yeah, you know that Rajas this size would be considerably old. They'd probably be at the end of their reproductive life, so their litters would probably be small. So they're more likely to be attached to their young. You know that basically it's artillery against this thing.
Right.
This thing is not going to go down quickly, and it's not going down to anything you could hold in your hands without being worried about it. So yeah, sitting at a distance with a pair of rifles and plugging away at it, it will probably put paid to this at some point. But for a singular strike, you'd be looking at something a little bigger. Or force feeding it a grenade or something. Which is something that post-gens have been known to do. In gangs. Wrestle these things to the ground and force explosives into them.
Unfortunately, I left my grenades in my other trousers.
Yes, along with your gang. Yes. Along with your gang of similarly brawny post-gens. So, yeah. But you do have a cocking enormous rifle.
I do. So
Which might do the trick if you hit it in the right places and enough times.
okay, I have a plan. We're those of us with guns are going to fall back, so we've got enough space between us to keep shooting at it for a while, and then we're going to get it to run toward us with some bait. And ideally some fairly nimble bait that could sort of run off away from us and, I don't know, maybe hide under something. That's the baits department.
Oh. Well, this just begs the question, seeing as no one else has asked it so far. Who's been elected as bait?
Well, I've got a rifle, and
This is starting to sound an awful lot like American parliamentary process. Like, well, I have a rifle. Who has the smallest gun here?
Well, whilst all this is going on, I'm going to sneak off somewhere to the south and hide behind something.
Can I see him sneaking?
Well, he has to make a sneak in order to be sneaky. He might be like crouching down low and going, "I'm sneaking. I'm so good at sneaking. I am the knight." But yeah,
14.
40. Yeah, fuck it. He's the knight.
Right.
He's you look around and go, right when you're the fuck. Where'd he go? For all we know, Grigor may not have moved much at all, but as far as you're aware, and from your previous impressions of him, he's done a runner. Like, he's either stupid enough or clever enough to have done a runner. You have not a fucking clue where he is, unless he decides to reveal himself in some manner, which you can do easily, like, you know. Just like you could just like raise a hand and wave at them, like, quietly. Or you can talk back to them. If you just want to sneak away. Like the filthy piece of shit you are. Leaving them to die.
I'll just quickly raise a hand and then pull it back down again.
Yeah, you see like a pale, trembling hand, like raise out of the darkness, like behind a small pile of stones, you know, at the top of the embankment. And you're just like, huh, okay. There he is. But you do notice he is further away from the things than Eivor. He has snuck away.
Yeah.
we could go down the bank and round it, maybe. I mean, that thing's worried about its kids. Not too fussed about finding us right now.
One of us did boot its kid.
Well, from what I can tell, communication's not really that in depth between Rajakind. It's somewhat safe to say we can probably get away without it coming to the brewery to find us.
Right, yeah. But it might look around the immediate area for the thing that killed it or hurt its kid.
Well, if we're off now,
if we I'm gonna let's start leaving. Maybe keep an eye on it.
Okay, so you're going to bravely run away. When danger rears his ugly head, you'll turn your back and bravely flee.
Well, I'm not turning my back.
Okay. You're going to back away
Like,
carefully in the
it's
dark.
pacing it down.
Yeah.
There's hail coming. We don't have time to be
No.
barking around the branches.
No. Fair enough. Yeah.
I want a drink.
Yeah. Yes. You all feel that, that a good drink would solve all your problems. But you have now been like laying in the mud at the side of a railway for quite some time discussing what's going to happen in freezing cold rain. So everyone take another exposure save.
10.
Crit.
I am going to use a legendary point to reroll that.
Okay.
10.
Oh. Yes, everyone who rolled over a 10 is absolutely fine. So huzzah.
Hooray.
And on your crit, you've like figured out how to like, focus past the cold.
Hooray.
You feel better about the whole situation. You found your happy place. And your aches and pains and frozen extremities no longer bother you quite so badly.
Does that change the exposure in any way?
Nope.
Damn.
But you feel happier.
Hey!
Yeah. And and maybe, just maybe, next time I call for an exposure you won't have to test because, you feel better about things. But yeah. So yeah, you stroll on through the night, generally feeling worse about things. No one rolled under a 10, did they? Okay. Yeah. So you're all good on that case. You stroll off into the night and you hear this growling and this yipping and it seems to be moving around the area, but nothing seems to be catching up with you just yet. But you feel that you're probably going to have to keep an eye on it for a while. Yeah. At this point, because you're probably about halfway to Lewis now. You've covered a fair bit of distance, even if it hasn't really seemed it. Blundering around in the rain. Shit terrified of terrible things. We'll do that to you. And as you wander off, you've abandoned the train tracks now. You're like, fuck that, I'm not going anywhere near those bastard things. And you make off across the valleys and the low hills that head back into Lewis. The ground starts getting a bit swampier where all this rain is crashing down. And you find a road. It seems to be fairly well established and looked after. I mean, obviously it's fucked, but from our point of view in the 21st century, it's fucked. But where you are in time now, this is probably one of the best kept roads you've seen. It seems to be fairly clear, and all the old wrecks have been pushed to the sides, mostly. The heavy ones obviously have been left where the fuck they are, because who's going to do anything about that? It's not like they have Rajahs on hand to bulldoze them out of the way. But yeah, you strike. It seems to head sort of fairly clearly south. It winds a bit, but it's heading down, as far as you can tell, sort of beeline towards Lewis.
Excellent. I'm going to pick Gregor up again
Okay.
so that we can go fast.
Okay. If you really want to. Yeah. You assume you're not going to fight him again?
No, I'm used to it.
Yeah, you're used to it. You're a little insulted, but used to it. In that way of good friends who bond over terrible things, you're insulted, but you're okay with it. You get flopped back over the shoulder, and you narrowly miss nutting the gun on the way over. But yeah, resume staring down, your new friend's back at the floor, and hanging there like a rag doll. As the two effective members of the group stroll off, apparently, utterly unburdened by the fact that they have a fella dangling on one of them. The other is carrying a pet and a large heavy bag. But yeah, okay. So you stroll off back once again into the rain. At this point, the thunder and lightning are very, very close. There, and you fuck it, yeah. You hear what sounds like that yip from earlier, but maybe 100 times louder, as the first crack of lightning comes down, and the deep-throated call you hear, it just reaches like an enormous bellow of full-blooded rage. But it echoes across the land a bit, but you can tell it's a fair distance away. Congratulations, nature has taken out one of your enemies, because it was just funnier that way. You now have an enraged Mother Raja running around, and screw it. Bugger. Okay, so yeah, you head down the road for a bit, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I haven't really got much of a choice at the
Yeah.
moment.
Well, I was wondering if they wanted to, head to one side of it, or just see if they could do it like a straight cut.
Would I know anything about who might be maintaining the roads in this area, and whether or not coming across them there might be a toll to pay?
Specifically, no. But as a general thing, if anyone's maintaining a road, they generally require a toll. I mean, it's not unusual. It's not even particularly, it's not a particularly outlandish ask, really, in this world. That if you're going to maintain a public roadway, you make people you charge people for it. They might not charge the user, but someone is paying for this.
Okay, but it's not going to... Generally, it's not going to be someone that will string me up by the roadside and or turn me into sausage.
That would be a absolutely rampant and broad generalisation there to say yes or no. It's very much an individual case-by-case basis. But in the few minutes you have been walking down this road, you haven't seen anyone strung up.
Okay.
You have seen, however, sort of small gravestone-like protrusions sticking out of the road from next to the road. This is even better because you've seen them and not the other two. With something inscribed on them.
Okay.
Because you're illiterate, so you don't know what it is.
Yeah, so I think maybe to one side, I'd just be carrying on as far as reasonable.
Fair enough. So you don't point out these little stones at the side of the road.
For all I know, they're pretty decorative stones next to the road.
Yeah.
I can't see what they say.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what they say. You never can see it.
Yeah. Let's face it. It's dark, you're illiterate, and it appears to be writing of some kind. Who gives a fuck?
I'm currently staring at the floor, so
Yeah.
I can't see them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go off to one side with him on the basis that it's possible that some old acquaintances of mine are maintaining this road.
Being that you are being cautious about this road, give me a knowledge.
A crit.
A crit. Excellent. You are almost entirely sure that this is one of the roads that you and your mates used to have to patrol.
Oh.
So this would be, in your mind, almost definitely a Hellion protected road.
Right.
That's why it's so well kept. That's why, fucking cars have been pushed out the way, because there have been postgens to do it. You're not sure if it's currently being patrolled, but yeah, this looks like the sort of place your old mates would have patrolled. Yeah.
Okay.
As you walk down the side of the road, you see inscribed on a little stone. Maybe it stands about 2 feet high. It's clearly been pried out of the road surface itself, and it's crudely inscribed with like "Crush was here."
I see.
242 squad. Was here. Crush's mum is a slag. Yeah, and these things are almost entirely covered in graffiti. Clearly, at some point, they served some manner of purpose, but they've been defaced utterly.
Okay. I'm also going to set Gregor down now.
Ooh.
I'm going to say, well, you're a sneaky bugger, right? We need a scout.
Righto.
And you're particularly stealthy.
I have been known to be.
Excellent.
Right, we'll get scouting. And I'll just sort of shove him in front of
Scouty, scout. Scout here.
So, Scouty McScouterson, how are you going to scout? Are you going to walk down the centre of the road whistling loudly? Are you going to, hide in the roadside hedges? Are you going to range forward along the fields of the side of the road?
Yes, the fields on the side of the road, just rather sneakily.
Okay. Yeah. So you sort of you plough through the low hedge at the side of the road, and it seems to be a tended field. I mean, the ones on the most outlying ones seem to be mostly fallow, but as you head further south, there seem to be tended fields, at least ploughed. As you head further south, you start to find fields of crops that have clearly been pounded by hail. Whoever owns these is not going to be a happy person, but maybe something can be salvaged. And as you head further south, you start to see there's a light on the road. But there are a pair of lights. Bright yellow lights. It's some distance away, and you are the other side of a hedge. But what are you planning to do at this point? Up to now, you've just been like hiking through field.
Should I try a perception to see what it is? This distance?
Yeah. You can give it a bash.
8.
You can see there's a pair of lights further up on the road. They appear to be yellow.
I'm going to walk back to the group stealthily and say, there's a pair of yellow lights over there, and point.
Okay. Were you two waiting for him to come back, or were you heading along assuming that he would raise any issues?
Heading along.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
I'll just turn around and say it then.
Yeah, you guys, yeah. Oh, no, we assume that they've let you range ahead a little way, but they haven't stopped to wait. So you head half the distance back, and they're just standing in the road going, "There's a pair of yellow lights." When you arrive back and they're like, "What do you know about the yellow lights?" And you're like, "There's a pair of yellow lights." How useful.
I think at this point Zeke would just be like, oh, bloody Southerners, and then head the same way that you'd seen Gregor come.
Yeah.
Gregor come. back and go to have a look himself, sort of off the beaten track.
Yeah. I would point out from the distance you were standing, like the two yellow lights, as far as Jeffrey and Zeke are aware, it's just 2 points of yellow light through the haze. Like you've literally just gone like, I think there's a light. And he's come back and there's a light. You assumed he would sneak closer and have a better look, but apparently not.
No.
So yes, Zeke, you sneak off. Give me some sneaking then.
15.
Fucking hell. Okay. Yeah. Zeke becomes one with the darkness. You know, he strolls across ploughed fields without becoming muddy. He walks through the raindrops without being wet. He how close do you want to get?
Sort of close enough that I can tell what these are, but not close enough that maybe the light would pick me out.
Okay, yeah. So you start to head a bit closer, and like you duck in behind the hedge, and you start moving close. You start to make out what might be voices, and you figure that's close enough.
Mm-hmm.
And you peek over the hedge, and what you can see is 2 rather elaborate gas lamps. Essentially, it's like a large gas tank, like the big old Kayla ones you get, for like going camping for a fucking long time. Like the huge ones, the ones you see on the back of the truck that they fill the smaller ones from. There's 2 of these, one either side of the road, and they seem to just have like an enormous chimney assemblage on the top with a gas ring with a little roof on it. It casts a fairly bright light, and beneath it there's about a dozen men. You can see there's a big sort of metal gate across the road, and there's about a dozen men sort of milling about. Most of them are trying to stand under cover. There's a little wooden shelter at one side of the road that most of them are trying to occupy, despite that there's only room for about 4 people in it.
Okay. Sort of. Do they look like men or something that used to be a man and is now severely taller?
As you watch, you do see there are post-gens among them. The post-gens appear to have their own little place to be. There's one standing out in the open, just completely unheeding of the rain. He's standing a little way back in the darkness, like further down the road. And he appears to be holding something, I wouldn't say enormous, but it's big. It looks quite heavy. And it glints with like the telling sign of like gunmetal.
Okay.
You're too far away to really make it out, especially in the dark, but it glints.
Would I be able to double back far enough that this figure sort of wouldn't notice me come back onto the road, but ahead of the other 2, sort of without being noticed?
Would you be able to double back and get onto the road without these people seeing you?
Without this figure in front?
Are these figures further back down the road?
Oh, further back.
He's behind this checkpoint, as it would seem.
Oh, right. Okay. If
He
that's
seems
the
to be
case,
the
then-
sort of, he appears to be the backstop.
Yeah. If that's the case, then I'll just double back to the other 2 and sort of intercept them on the road.
Yeah.
And relay what I have seen.
Okay. Being that Zeke just fucking vanished, with nary a word, he was like, I'm going to check this out. What have you 2 been doing in the meantime? You're like, there's yellow lights. And Zeke vanishes.
Just been standing around, just waiting for something to happen.
Okay. Gregor's been standing around doing cock all in the rain.
I've been berating his scouting talent.
Okay. Okay, give us a flavour of that.
So, when you volunteered to scout, like, do you know what scouting is? What its purpose is?
Walking around and just looking at things and then popping back and saying, "There's a thing."
Okay.
Oh, there's a thing.
That's true. But maybe in future, I don't know what life has in store for you. Life is a great journey, and on that journey, you may have to scout again. And my advice to you would be to describe objects in a way that can't be seen by someone at a great distance. For example, if there are lights, assume that people behind you can see them because they're lights.
At this point, we'll have Zeke react. Like, lights are lights, and we can fucking see them. Here comes Zeke to save the day and elucidate.
So, having reappeared sort of out of the shadows next to them, so there's a checkpoint further up. Looks like the usual toll collectors along this road, but there's a couple of big uns sort of wandering amongst the group, and one tall chap a bit further back with something that you wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of, were he to take a disliking to you.
Well, pieces.
So the sneaking around isn't too much of an option, because I think that's what he's there for. To catch anyone trying to skip the toll. We could cut further through these fields here, but it would add some time onto our journey, and with the weather as is, I don't know how you feel about that.
I don't feel great, but we're going to have to do it. They outnumber us, and I'm not a popular chap. I don't know why, I'm lovely, but not everyone agrees. So cutting across, it'll have to be.
Yeah.
What about you? You're what about you? You're paying wages at the end of the day. So it's your call in all. But I'd say best we cut south here and sort of chance it in the fields.
I think that's a good idea, because I really want to drink, and paying the money that could be on drinks for a toll doesn't sound too good, really. So yes, if we can avoid that, that would be advantageous.
Roughly how long have you guys spent, like, faffing and at the very, like, edge of visual range from this thing?
I would have said that I'd sort of rattled that off quite quickly and said...
Oh, I mean in total, since the first time you sent off Gregor. I mean, you've probably made it less than 10 metres down the road.
15, 20 minutes?
15, 20 minutes? Okay. You relate this information at full length. And at this point... Yeah, fuck it, why not? At this point, you hear that throaty roar again. It from behind you on the road.
Oh,
Yeah. And as you as you stand there, sort of looking at each other, going, "Oh fuck," you start to hear the thud of footprints on the road.
oh no, this
Rapidly in succession, in the manner of something with 4 legs.
let's run that fucker at the checkpoint and get through in the confusion.
Don't recommend it, but I suppose we can give it a go.
Yeah.
You start to hear panting
Right.
and claws on concrete.
Weird.
I have no
Is there
issue
something I
with
can duck behind? No. Thinking about it.
At 7 foot
Yeah.
something, no.
Yeah,
There are
that's
things you
somewhere-
could probably lay down behind.
I'm gonna lay in the crops.
You're going to lay in the crops. You're going to lay in the spoiled crops. Okay. Alright, so we've got one we've got 1 vote for hiding.
I'm gonna guess, considering it's managed to follow us as far as it has done in the rain, it can still smell us even in the heavy rain. So I'm going to start to head towards the checkpoint.
Okay. What about Jeffrey?
I'm also. I'm gonna head toward the checkpoint, slightly ahead, if possible.
Okay. Okay. Right. So, finally, this Raja pulls back into visual range. You can hear the panting. You can see the sparks being kicked up by the claws on the road. Yeah. You can almost see the look of pure murderous rage in its eyes. Yeah, you can see clouds of steam flying from its nostrils. It is horrible and terrifying. So Gregor's run off and hidden in a field. Okay, cool. So I say at the same moment you all bolt in your assembled directions. Gregor dives over a hedge and hides in a field of barley. At the same time, as Jeffrey and Zeke peg it for Lewis. Excellent. I love this. This is fantastic. So yeah, you pound on down the road. The lights become brighter and clearer, and you make out 3 people, 4 people, 5, a dozen. There's definitely something behind that stuff. There's the big metal gate is here. It's reinforced with like concrete bollards. They've definitely made sure nothing big could cross this point without paying a toll. The men at the gate, they start to raise weapons. One cries, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
Shit, man, that's fucking Raja.
What? It's raining. I can't hear you.
Motherfucking Raja.
I assume you bellow that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I'm in a shed house.
Yeah. Oh, for fuck's sake. For the 3rd time, something rolls a 2 for perception. Like, huh? I wish the first one's like, "It's a fucking Raja!" And the guns start opening up. Whatever it was behind this barricade is the first thing to go. You just hear like a heavy supersonic thwomp. And for a split second, everything is white. Everything is backlit with this stark bright light. As something tears through the space between you two on the road with a sound like ripping fabric. And there's just this horrendous, like, thudding boom behind you, and a horrible roar.
Oh, that's good news.
The first men at the barricade throw down their guns and run. They abandon their post. The post gens, sort of in the line behind them, step up. Each of them carrying something large and brutal. The first post gen seems to be helping the backstop reload. At this point, Jeffrey has definitely reached the gate.
Right.
Someone's trying to stop you. There are two men standing behind this gate with heavy poles trying to stop you.
I'm gonna try to barrel through it anyway. Fuck it. No. Well, I said it. No.
Barrel through them or it?
The gate.
Okay.
Or oh no shit. How? I suppose having now said that, I have to do it. Sorry.
Have you spent your legendary point?
No, I haven't. I'm going to do that now.
Yeah, you can spend your legendary point to not attempt to barrel through a steel gate.
Yeah.
Okay. You could probably jump the gate. I mean, it's only a couple of feet high. It's probably like 4 feet high.
Oh,
you could probably try and vault it.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Give me a reflex or a dexterity. Give me a reflex. You're running. You've got to time your jump.
Oh shit. That's my
Old knees.
I don't know if you can see that. That's a 12.
It's a crit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You
Three in a session. I've never rolled like that.
Nice. See, well, this is what happens when you play systems with fewer outcomes. You roll well more often. Yeah. You crit. You place a single hand on the top of this gate, and you vault over, barreling these two lackwit pricks over. You take a knee to each one's face. You body surf over. Craniums meet craniums meet concrete, and you just slide over and do a roll and stand up and keep running. They have no idea what's hit them. Apparently, a gigantic juggernaut of destruction. There are two less men standing at this barricade when Zeke arrives.
I don't like my chances of, given that I'm not particularly tall, I don't fancy my chances of vaulting a 4-foot fence.
Well, it's like a metal framed gate, so there's space. There's like the type you get at like private car parks, sort of thing. So there's space to jump through it. It's just you couldn't drive a vehicle through it, sort of thing. It's big, thick, like scaffold type pipe sort of frame.
Yeah.
If you stop, you could probably step under it, or step through it.
I'll give it a go to sort of roll under it as I carry on at full pelt.
Okay, well, give me a reflex as well then.
$12.
Okay, you run to within a few feet of the gate, and you throw yourself into like a full length like forward roll. The first sign that things aren't going great is your shoulder hits the bottom frame. Your feet hit the crossbar of this gate, and you slide in the mud on the actually it's not mud, it's concrete, isn't it? You slide on the concrete on your shoulder blades and the back of your head. But you're on the correct side of the gate. You've just stopped dead in a crowd of people who are angry with you. But you are alive, and Screw it. Oh, give me physical endurance. Are you unharmed by crashing into concrete at high speed?
I'm gonna guess a 9. The answer is no. I suffered some damage.
Yeah, you've suffered some damage. You've suffered 5 points of damage.
Okay. That's not good. That puts me at 5.
Well, that's okay. What with the damage you took earlier, at least you're conscious. It's always good. But yeah, you are unhappy and probably bleeding. But it's raining, you can't tell. Yes. At which point... Yeah. Gregor, you've seen Jeffrey vault over this thing and heard like screams and crunching. You've seen Zeke's head vanish from your view over the top of the I've lost the word. Hedge. And you haven't seen him pop back up. You have, however, seen this Raja. From your point of view, low down, peeking over this hedge, it's about the size of a transit van. And it hits this metal barrier as if it was made of concrete. It smashes into this thing. There's no like resounding clang. There's no sort of scene. There's no sense of give. This thing hits this gate, and the gate moves out the way. But that's all you really see. You just see the back of the head. You see the ears, the back of the head, and the front shoulders of this thing just smash through this point in between these two upright lights, as you lay on your belly like a coward in a field of barley.
Mm-hmm.
But a living coward,
Mm-hmm.
which is more than could be said of those two people that Jeffrey killed. At this point, the checkpoint just dissolves into chaos. Gunfire all over the place. The post-gen at the back opens fire with whatever the fuck that thing was. Again, once again, there's a big old bright like flash of incandescent white light. A horrible sound like someone tearing linen. And the Raja takes this one full in the face, which is something that only Zeke would know in his unique position, a few feet from this face, laying on the floor. He gets to see the lower jaw of the Raja, remaining as basically the only part of its face intact after a small explosion from this heavy artillery. So actually what we have left is eyes and a bottom jaw and an angry head. An angry skull, if you will. Pissing blood all over the place but refusing to be dead. You're fairly sure you can see brain trickling out. Nevertheless, this thing is going forward. You're not entirely sure if all the legs are still running, but it appears to still be travelling forwards.
I'm going to try and get off to one side and carry on down the road to Lewis.
Excellent choice. Yeah, you you get up and run. Excellent. That was a botch. No one notices you. In light of current events, you are completely unnoticeable. You are aided with a cloak of, oh my god, we have bigger things to worry about than one guy not paying tolls. And yeah, you run off and you make it through the unattended sort of town gate into Lewis.
At this point, Gregor's going to get up and just calmly walk towards the gate as if nothing had happened.
Okay. While you're strolling through this field of barley, Jeffrey, having just body surfed 2 people to death and got up and kept running, one of the post-gens at the back has interposed himself between you and your goal. Yeah. He appears to be holding what is a strip of rebar with a chunk of concrete on the end in each hand, like a lump hammer in each hand. He stretches his arms out to either side, and he bellows something, but you're not paying attention. I assume you're not devoting an awful lot of brain time to what this dickhead might be shouting.
Unfortunately not.
No. What are you going to do about this dickhead in your way?
I feel like, though I know he could probably easily take me in a fight, I'm also, I've got a lot of adrenaline, and I've got something encouraging me behind. So I'm going to attempt to anaesthetize him with the hammer.
Excellent. You're going to anaesthetize him with your mallet. Excellent. Oh yeah, give me an RMCC.
Cack. Right. What is that? 7.
Okay. For fuck's sake. I've got to stop rolling that dice. Yeah, he knocks it away easily and goes to like grapple you. He just enclose you, and he completely fluffs it. He rolls a 2 again. So yeah, he completely fucks that up. Give me an unarmed attack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake. What even would that be? 6.
Okay, yeah. He goes to like do like the lamest, slowest rugby tackle in history, like forward onto you. And as he like drops to his knees to try and grab your legs, you just knee him in the face with like the most pathetic glancing blow. It just literally nudges him out the way. You know, he falls there, and you both just sort of stop for a half second, both feeling embarrassed about how badly that went, before you just keep running. He lays there like pretending to be hurt for a moment, so his mates don't take the piss. Before you see him like stand up and pretend he didn't try any of that. He runs at the Raja. And yes, you also make it through the unattended inner gates. Right, Grigor, strolling up towards the heavily the besieged, heavily engaged outer gates, as if nothing was happening. Possibly even toll in hand. Like, I can pay. How's this going? You're cold, you're wet, you're covered in dead barley. Like nailed, mashed barley. And you're just strolling up to this checkpoint as if nothing was happening. Okay. As you stroll up the road, like stray bullets fly your way. No. Once again, the post-gens have managed to reload their enormous God knows what, and everything flashes to blinding incandescence. Something tears you away. It misses this time. Give me a reflex.
That is 12.
12. Okay. you manage to throw yourself into the hedge just as whatever the fuck this thing fired, this glowing pellet of fuck you, smashes into the road and blows a cocking enormous hole in the ground. You're not hurt, but for a split second you have no idea where you are. You know, the noise and the brightness and the sheer concussive force just make you utterly and completely disorientated as you lay face down in a hedge. But I assume you climb back out and stroll forwards again.
Yeah, give it another go.
Yeah, you're really, really doubling down on this stroll forwards towards the incredible danger tactic. Yeah. As you stroll down towards the thing, you pass the broken outer gates, and you're surrounded by panicking people and thrashing badger. How are you planning to get past this badger? It seems to be moving mainly by mode of brief, painful spasms, but
it's in a bad way, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's in a terribly bad way, but it still eviscerates a man as you stand there.
I'm gonna fire my gun at it.
Excellent. You're gonna fire your gun at it.
Mm-hmm.
Your soaking wet, damaged gun.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to shoot an angry badger in the arse.
Yes.
Fair enough.
10 attack.
Yeah. Standing next to essentially a bin van. Like, of course you hit it.
Okay. And 16.
Fucking hell. Really?
Yeah.
Jesus
I've got
Christ.
+9 damage.
Yes. Okay, yeah. You shoot it. You fire your trusty gun, Thatcher, at its arse. And the pellet seems to burst into sort of a fizzing white froth as it leaves your gun.
Mm-hmm.
And upon hitting the unfortunate badger, a brief flash of like purplish orange flame it explodes around where you hit, and it continues to sizzle, like kind of sickeningly, as a white flame shoots out the hole. As your horrible incendiary rounds get to work. The badger at this point cannot scream. It's missing most of its face, but it definitely notices. And it's going to attempt to kick you with one of its back legs.
Okay.
It definitely hits you with its back leg. Yeah. For fuck's sake. 7 damage. Woo.
Okay. Now
That was abysmal.
yes, minus physical endurance.
Just endurance.
Just endurance.
Yeah.
Oh,
To a minimum of 1.
Yeah. So that makes it.
It just bats you out the way. Basically.
2 hit points.
Yeah. It kicks you very hard into a hedge. But it's got bigger things on its mind at the moment as one of the post-gens runs as a post-gen with two pieces of concrete on the end of rebar runs towards it and dives at its head. It attempts to, this gigantic post-gen appears to pop one of its eyes with a blow from a lump of concrete. It's something you wish you hadn't seen. But in its frenzy, the Raja rips the post-gen's legs off.
Oh.
I was rooting for him.
Oh, he's not done. He's just legless. He lays there on the ground, batting at its bottom jaw as it tries to bite him, but doesn't have the necessary equipment anymore. Excellent. So here's your chance. If you make a single decent sneak, you can run past everyone. Are you going to attempt to sneak past everyone?
Who's
Escape
that
from
to?
you, the only
Oh,
one
me.
who's in mortal danger.
Oh, I thought I was on the ground somewhere.
Yes, you
Okay.
are. You're on the ground in mortal danger.
I'll try and sneak past everyone and see what happens with that. 9.
And you managed to get past the badger. As you pass the postgen who's wielding this enormous, just fucking enormous cannon type thing. He appears to have it like mounted by straps onto his chest. He's holding it with both hands on like various little handles that are all around it. There's someone else breech loading it. At that point, someone like lays a hand on your shoulder. And is just like, "Oi! You didn't pay the toll."
Dealing with badger first, then pay toll. I have it here.
No, you use the road. You pay the toll.
Oh, fine. Let's get this done so that I can shoot. How much is toll?
It's attack a person, and I saw them two coming through before.
Here, 3 tack. Now.
Excellent. Yeah, great. And he walked with you into town. He walks with you into town, like at the unattended inner gate. He walks into a little guardhouse, opens a small box, and places the tack inside. And he's like, "You know what? I think I'll wait out the storm in here."
I'll just look around and go. Quite nice in here.
Yes, it is. Now fuck off. I've got your money. I don't need you anymore.
Oh, that's a shame.
Cheerio.
I'll throw myself out the door.
Alright, I was just going to suggest you left, but fine. Throw yourself out of the door and into the squelchy mud.
Yeah.
Excellent. So yeah, you're all reunited, standing inside the inner gates. Yeah, there's a few sort of hovels around. There's clearly an old bridge, a pre-war bridge. It heads over to an amazing smelling place. A smell that in truth is actually not entirely pleasant, but a smell that all drinkers know and love as the one true smell of a brewery.
Oh, puppy.
Yeah. And just across a narrow roadway from the brewery is what you can only describe as a pub, a quintessential pub. It is a low building with pub signs out the front, and it has like hastily cobbled together picnic tables sitting out the front of it with beer umbrellas. Old brewery umbrellas. 100 years old if they're a day. Fixed up with gaffer tape with the beer branding like redrawn on. With God knows what, but hey, it's a beer umbrella, and you know what it is.
Time for a drink, gentlemen.
Yes. Even as the next, and just as you're walking, the next lot of hail crashes in. The thunder draws in, the lightning starts going. Everything picks up. The wind starts howling. But you don't give a fuck because you've just stepped into the pub. And in the pub, it is warm and comfortable. There are tables and chairs, and there's an elderly fellow in an apron standing behind the bar. And having seen you open the door, he already has 3 glasses up on the bar. He says, "What'll you have, fellas?"
Bitter.
The best.
Whatever you recommend.
"A pint of the best for all of you, then." He steps over to the pump that quite clearly has what we all know as the best on there, still with the big blue Sussex shield on it. And he gives all three of you a nice frothy pint of glorious beer. A glorious, light, refreshing, nutty ale. with a hoppy chaser. I don't know what I'm talking about.
How much?
Take a tack for it.
I'll place it on the desk.
Excellent. And he sweeps it off into a bag he's got pinned to the inside of the bar. It's like, anything else I can get for you, lads?
Something warm and sweet wouldn't go amiss. Just to clarify, was I paid prior to or this excursion, or would you?
Yeah, I paid you at the time.
You paid up front.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Something warm and sweet, and a couple more of these would go down a treat.
Excellent. Make yourselves at home, lads. And he goes off and he pours a few more, and he throws a punch at the sleepy youth sitting next to the door through to the kitchen. And at this point, the camera will zoom out on an idyllic scene of British life. Three fellas, dripping, freezing cold, joining together to drink beer in a pub. And that was what happened one night on the road.
Yay. Excellent stuff.
Oh, yes. So, to sum up, that was great. Thanks, guys. I didn't think we'd get there, but we did.
Yes.
And only 6 minutes over time. Which, in terms of time management, is amazing for me. I have realised that unfortunately this won't end up on YouTube because I forgot to record it. But hey, something else will probably happen. So anyway, I was Thirsty. You can find me on Twitter at bloodthirsty_BTP. You can find me on bloodthirstypuppets.co.uk. And I will be here on Mondays and Fridays when Fridays happen again, because people have been ill and doing things and having lives. How dare they?
Yeah.
So yeah, Eivor.
I've been Eivor, and you can find me at Eivor_DNABC on Twitter, and here on a Monday night, but other than that, in the nebulous north.
Okay. Kerone.
Hi, I'm Kerone. You can find me on Twitter at Kerone_BTP. And you can also find information about Betrayed, which is my new short film, at jqs.org.uk. That was a lot of fun to play. I quite enjoyed the walking casually through the desolation, as it were, of destruction all round. But yeah, that was quite a laugh. When I'm next on, if it's happening this Friday, then you will find me at 8 o'clock Friday night for Friday Night Spiced. But stay tuned on the Twitters and that for an update. But hopefully I'll see you there.
Yeah. Right. Jazzratt, where can we find you, if anywhere?
At Jazzratt on Twitter. Other than that, nowhere really.
Fair enough. We'll have to.
Shady individual.
Yes. Ever the shady individual. Anyway, yeah. So that's it from us. Thank you very much, and we shall. Well, at least some of us will hopefully see you next time. So, cheerio. We shall cut the outro slide. Here's the outro slide. They can still hear us. So hey.
Look at that guy.
But thanks, guys. That was actually a lot of fun. I was kind of panicking about this one.
That was marvellous.
Considering that it's taken us how many episodes to do all of 100 meters?
Yeah, there is that. Yeah, it's essentially taken the main crew. It's taken them 3 weeks to walk from one end of New Haven to the other. which is astounding. They've gone shopping twice and forgotten where they were going. Yeah. But anyway, it's all good. And